Hello friend, how are you? I'm Ankita and today's video is going to be an educational one like plain basic video. Like my previous videos were about shop role play like a lot of role plays kind of do really well in algorithm some reason. My most viewed videos were about role plays, either shop role play or doctor role play. So generally in my education videos I just talk, but if I pretend to be something else and put role play in my title, then the video gets lot more views. So like my hair oil video, in that video if I had just made a regular this hair oil, it won't get many views. But now since I put role play, it has got 10,000 views. So kind of interesting. But I wanted to make some basic simple one this time. And this one's slightly different than usual videos. This one's about Neanderthals. Neanderthals. I think lot of people know about them, at least know some info about them, and there are lots and lots of theories and lots of info about it, but there is no definite info about them. Just like dinosaurs, sometimes there is some info, then later say no, this is there, that is there. So even about Neanderthals, the info about them is changing. So back when I was young, Neanderthal was regarded as the ancestor of Homo sapien. Homo sapiens are us, or scientific name is Homo sapien sapien. So you must have seen that photo of evolution. First we were monkeys, then we slowly started becoming bigger and bigger apes. First we were walking on 4 limbs, then slowly got up. So over there you will see that Neanderthal is shown as the ancestor of Homo sapiens. But now people have realized that Neanderthals were not a ancestor of Homo sapien, but a different variety of humans. Yes. So nowadays when we talk about humans, we just have Homo sapiens. But back in olden times, hundreds and thousands of years ago, there were various types of humans. So and Neanderthal was one of the type of humans. There were Denisovans and Homo naledi, and I cannot pronounce this name properly, but I'll try my best. Homo floresiensis and various other. These were humans, but different types of human. They're nowadays human is just one species, but back in the olden times there were multiple species of humans. So we have dogs, we have dogs but different types of dogs. Same way there were humans but different types of humans. So all of them kind of have some similarities, but there were some differences as well. So in this video I will talk about Neanderthals. If you liked it, I can talk about other types of humans in future, but Neanderthals is the most famous one. In fact, there are lots of people, especially in Europe and Asia, who have at least 1 to 2% of Neanderthal DNA in them. Yes. Neanderthals, people, either they willingly Homo sapien Neanderthal mated with each other, or some say they were forced themselves on Homo sapiens. So there is lot of contrary opinions about Neanderthals, so I will try my best to share as much as I can, like whatever info I have, but there is no guarantee that this is the reality. Maybe in future some other info will come. Like Neanderthals, currently people believe that they were like located in Eurasia, which is like Europe and Asia. So they were mostly present in the Europe and Asian regions, whereas Homo sapiens were present in Africa. Both Homo sapiens and Neanderthals came from Homo heidelbergensis. Homo Homo heidelbergensis. So this was our common ancestor. Earlier 600, 700,000 years ago, this was our ancestor. And then due to some reason, some ancestor like moved to Eurasia, some went to Africa. So those who went to Eurasia, then slowly evolved into Neanderthals. Neanderthals evolved around 400 to 500,000 years ago. Whereas Homo sapiens evolved 300,000 years ago. 300 to 400,000 years ago. So there is at least 100 to 200,000 years in a gap. So Neanderthals evolved 100 to 200,000 years before, or like humans did, Homo sapiens did. So they were like much more an evolved form of humans. So nowadays we think we are the like bestest and smartest, strongest species, but Neanderthals were much more like powerful than humans. They were had a like shorter build. They're like smaller than humans, but they were like bulky. They're like short but stout, and they were very muscular. They were much stronger than us. They like prominent feature. Their face were almost similar to humans, but one of the distinct characteristic about their face was their like brow ridge was like slightly different than ours. It was protruding, and their nose were like wider than humans. So almost human like. If you see a Neanderthal now, you will feel that this is a regular human, but skull was slightly different. And also their brain case was larger than Homo sapiens. So technically, if we go by brain size ratio, in a body to brain size ratio, if Neanderthals were present right now, they would be much smarter than Homo sapiens. So Neanderthals will be much smarter than us. And they were, they had evolved 100 to 200,000 years before us. So there are like lots of controversy, like conspiracy about it. I will talk about those conspiracies in the end. First I will share some info about them. So Neanderthals, some people believe that they were very like violent and a brutal type of species. They were carnivores, and they only ate large mammals, like bison, reindeer or mammoth. Those large animals, they were so strong that they were able to defeat these large animals. But some say they were actually much more civilized than what we think. So Neanderthals, some believe that they were not carnivores, but they were like eating plants as well, and they were fishing as well. So some of the like very interesting things about them is like they were using tools. Yes, it wasn't just Homo sapien which was smart enough to use tools, but even Neanderthals had their own tools, which they use for hunting, gathering, and even as weapons. And Neanderthals even had like rituals. So there like some skeletons found which had like the skeleton were wearing some ornaments, and sometimes there were burial sites, like the skeleton was placed in a certain position, which shows that they were some performing some rituals, just like we have funerals they also had some kind of funeral system. So they didn't just dump the body, they were like performing rituals and all. They were also cave painting, cave engravings, so they were into art as well. There are like some skeletons found of Neanderthals which show that they had injuries, but the injuries were like healed some way. So there is a possibility that they did like abandon their sick. They took care of the sick companions, their group members. Neanderthals, just like Homo sapiens, lived in a group. They had their own tribe, and when the tribe member got injured, they took care of them. There were some medicines used to heal the patient, and if they are not able to heal themselves, they were like taken care of. Like there were some skeletons shown of injured and disabled Neanderthals, so they shouldn't be able to live this long with this injury, but they were still alive. So that means they were taken care of. That's why they were able to survive. So this is why some people believe that they are not as brutal, violent, psychotic like people imagine. People want to make Neanderthals as the villain and the Homo sapien as the good guy. And that is why like some people believe the images shown of Neanderthals, like lot of times they are shown very hairy and very like scary looking, but they may not be that intimidating as shown in those photos. They can be a lot more human like, slightly different but still lot more human like, and much more smarter, because even Neanderthals were using fire. They knew how to use fire. They knew how to create the shelter. They even like made clothes from animal skin. So they were able to do all of these things which Homo sapiens were able to. So big question comes, where are the Neanderthals now? If they were like evolved enough 100-200,000 before us, they like came to earth 400-500,000 years ago, and humans came 300-400,000 years ago. So if they have like so much long time to survive, and if they are smarter than us, stronger than us, then why we survived and they died? There are lots of like theories about why they got extinct. So some of them is like Homo sapien defeated them. I personally don't believe that, because if they were actually smarter and stronger than us, then they won't be able to like, we won't be able to win against them. Like if two people are almost the same, but one is stronger and smarter, they have an advantage. Like if there was a case that they were dumber than us, like lot of animals are very strong, but they don't have the same intelligence as humans. So humans use their intelligence to defeat them. So lots of lions and tigers can be controlled by humans by using our intelligence. But Neanderthals are believed to be smarter than Homo sapiens. So Homo sapiens would have played a role, but they were not the only cause. Another theory which is like told is that Earth's temperature started rising. So since these Neanderthals were like from Europe, Asia, they were from the colder region. Their body was adapted to colder region. As the temperature started rising, they couldn't handle the heat. a lot of people, a lot of Neanderthals started dying because of increase in heat. And since Homo sapiens were evolved in Africa, they were used to the high temperature, but Neanderthals were not able to endure it. Then another theory is, since some Europeans and Asians have 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA, and that is actually a big deal, because they died like their species got extinct almost 40,000 years ago. So 40,000 years means that's a very, very long time. So even though they are not there since 40,000 years, still we have 1 to 2% of their DNA. So that means there was lot of interbreeding between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. So nowadays we have interracial, they are intersubspecial. So there are different types of humans. Nowadays we just have Homo sapiens, but of different colors. They are like humans, but of different genes or something. So Neanderthals, like I read somewhere, but I'm not sure. But when the Neanderthals mated with Homo sapien women, so the child, if it was a female child, then she was able to procreate and produce a child, but the male child was sterile. Like there is still not a debate about it, but in one video and one research paper where I saw, that was said that when Neanderthal men and Homo sapien women were bonded together, so the male child was sterile, female child was able to produce. So since males were the ones reproducing with the female, so because of that the Neanderthals population started reducing, but Homo sapiens started growing, since the male ones were sterile. And people believe that they were forcing Homo sapien women. They thought the Homo sapien women were very beautiful, so they colonized kind of the Homo sapien women, and they killed the Homo sapien men. This is the belief. But again, there is a possibility that they were actually good friends. Nowadays they are different races. Some people believe that this race forced them, but sometimes people do bond with one another and produce. So if there is 1 to 2% DNA still alive, so that means there were lots of intersubspecial bondings happening by choice only. Some may be forced, but some, I think, Homo sapien women were interested in Neanderthal men because they were stronger and smarter. They were regarded as much more suitable mate. So lot of maybe Homo sapien women choose them. But again, if they were the chosen ones, why did they disappear? Another theory is inbreeding. So they believe that Neanderthals, since they lived in smaller groups, they kind of mated with one another, and due to inbreeding, not all of their child were healthy. So a lot of times due to inbreeding, disabled, deformed children are born. So these children die very young, even till date. A lot of times the inbreeding, when it happens that the child is deformed, and it's very difficult for the child to survive for long. So because of the inbreeding, their population started declining. And also when they mated with Homo sapiens, Homo sapiens carried some diseases which they transferred to Neanderthals. So Neanderthal were not immune to these diseases. That is why they died due to infection. All of this could be possible. like there could be some reason why Neanderthals are no longer there, or Denisovans or other human species. These reasons could have some merit to it, but like there is no guarantee that this is the thing which happened. Like, so because there is no surety about it, what happened to them, where are they, there are lots of conspiracies made about them. So let's get into the most feisty one. So conspiracy number 1 Bigfoot and Neanderthal. What is the connection? Some people believe that Neanderthals evolved into Bigfoot, and like there are lots of conspiracies about Bigfoot, and a lot of people believe that Bigfoot are actually not just regular animal, but some animal which is very very smart and who has some advanced technology, and they are like hiding in some secret places. Since their population is low, they are like kept themselves in secrecy, so humans don't come over here and disturb them. So and government is trying to hide the Bigfoot from common people, because the Bigfoot want privacy. So this is how Bigfoot looks like. If Bigfoot was rich and famous, so people believe that Neanderthals slowly evolved into Bigfoot, or Neanderthals look like Bigfoot because lot of people imagine Neanderthals as very hairy looking. So they believe that Bigfoot is actually Neanderthal, and since their population is low and their like intelligence is very high, so they are like keeping distance from us in a very secret hideout with advanced technology. This could be possible, you never know, because Bigfoot looks like a regular animal, but still there is so much mystery around it. Another theory is like very interesting one, which is they were like not present right now, but they were like part of the mythological stories. Like one of the most prominent one which I can think of is Ramayana. So again, there is no like definite proof, but this is what I like believe. If you have seen Ramayana or like heard story about it, you must know that in Ramayana there were not just humans, there were like different species fighting. So the main characters, Ram, Sita, Lakshman, Ram's family, Sita's family was human. They were regular humans. But if we come to Hanuman, so Hanuman was not a human. Hanuman was called a Vanar. So Vanar is a type of monkey. So lot of people regard Hanuman as a monkey god or ape god, because he was like super powered entity. But there were other Vanars as well. So Hanuman was a deity, but there were like regular Vanars, but those Vanars were like living a civilized life. They were not living like monkeys in jungle, but they had their own kingdom. So Lord Hanuman was a prince, and his father Kesari was a Vanar. He was like a chief, king. And Hanuman's mother Anjani was a Apsara. So Apsara is like a beautiful woman who lives in heaven. So they are like angels, beautiful angelic women. So his mother was an Apsara, his father was Vanar. That's why he looked like a Vanar. And there are like third species which were Rakshas. So Ravan was called as Rakshas, and the people of Lanka were also Rakshas. So nowadays, people compare like Rakshas with demons. They say Rakshas as bad. Rakshas are demons, evil people. Because since there was a fight between Rama and Ravan, so Ravan is evil, and everyone in Ravan's kingdom is evil. So Rakshas are evil. This is our current belief, but we don't know for sure. There is a possibility that Rakshas were like Neanderthals. This is something which like came in my mind, because the way like Neanderthals are described, they are like almost human like, but they were like bulkier, muscular. Their nose were white, and their like brow ridge was protruding. So the like how the Rakshas are shown in like movies and all is very similar to the description of Neanderthals. Yeah. So again, I am not sure whether Rakshas and Neanderthal were same, but Rakshas were not like brutal, uncivil, like those animals who lived in jungle, but Lanka was a very like civilized society. Ravan's Lanka was like a golden city, like it was a very prosperous like nation. It was very very rich, and their people were very educated and living very prosperous life. So these Rakshas were human like, but still not very human like. So if you see photos of Ravan, even without the 10 heads, 10 heads only appear sometime, but even the regular Ravan, you will see that they look like a human, but still there is something very different about it. They were like very like gruesome looking. Again, we don't know how Ravan actually looked like, but they were slightly different looking than regular humans, but still almost human like. So Ramayana story is like very very ancient. No one exactly knows how old Ramayana is. So it can be 100,000 years old as well. No one, like, there are speculations, but there is no definite proof when Ramayana actually happened. So there is a possibility this story happened when other types of humans were present. So there is a chance the Vanars and Rakshas were also humans, but different humans. Lord Ram, Devi Sita were Homo sapiens, and Lord Hanuman was different type of human. Vanars were like apes, but they were either one of these Denisovans, Homo, Neanderthal, or they can be something different kind of human. Same with Rakshas, they can be very different type of humans. Nowadays, all of these different types of humans are no longer there. But even in like European mythology, there are like hobbits. In European mythology, hobbits are like small size humans. So they are like regarded as mythical creatures. But now we are like getting skeletons of a species called Homo floresiensis. Homo floresiensis. So these humans were like almost human like, but they were shorter. So they are like short size humans. So they were like almost like the hobbits which are talked in European mythology. So I do believe that the mythological stories have some reality to it. We don't definitely know much about our history, mythology or anything. But still it's like very interesting that like more we are finding out about things, more we are able to understand like not only history but our mythology as well. Earlier even I used to think that this is just imaginary stories, but now as we are seeing more and more proof, I'm like very very curious. Maybe these mythological stories are our history. They may not be exactly like how we imagine. I still believe that our perception of the past and mythology versus what actually happened is slightly different, and maybe it can be very different. you know you know because we just have info about them through books and drawings and all. So books don't always tell the complete picture. Like we can read a book and imagine different kind of scenarios. So we still don't have enough info, but still it's very interesting to see that scientists talk about different types of humans, and in Ramayana there are like different types of humans. So this is a very long video. Like I thought this is going to be very short, but somehow there is lots and lots of discussion about it. So if you want to share some info about Neanderthals, please share it with me. And also this Bigfoot painting is for sale and I'm selling it on my website. I will put the link in description and in comment section. Please check it out. And it's a very handsome fellow. It's covered in plastic wrap, so to protect it so it doesn't get dirty, and it has sturdy like cardboard, so it remains stiff and nice. So the buyer gets it in a very good condition. It's a very like handsome man. You can imagine it as Neanderthal as well. But nevertheless, thank you for watching this video. Hope you liked it, and if you have any feedback or if you want to share info about Neanderthals, feel free to share it in the comments. And have a nice day. Bye bye.